do you want to quickly maybe introduce yourself and say where you are and so on?
Sure. So my name is Małgorzata, and I'm currently in Warsaw. I live here. I've been living in London for the past 5 years, so I've only been back in Poland for the past 5 or 6 months. And I'm a production assistant at a production company that does commercials mostly.
Okay. And so maybe tell me quickly, how's the situation in Poland at the moment?
So we've been on the lockdown from the 16th of March. So it's been almost 5 weeks. It's gonna be 5 weeks on Monday, and it's been a bit weird because we've been slowly introducing like new measures. So at first it was just closing down the schools and like theaters and cinemas, and then they were, all the offices have to be closed except for like essential people, and then they start closing up parks. So we basically have like new stuff introduced almost every week. Like for example, since yesterday, we have to wear face masks and gloves outside, otherwise you're gonna be stopped by the police.
Okay.
And get fined. So it's quite drastic, but I think it's good.
Okay, so but it wasn't like one big step. It's kind of been added step by step throughout the last weeks.
Yeah, it's been added like step by step, just like analyzing the situation and like closing down the borders at some point, but it didn't happen straight away either. But it's quite confusing, I think, for everybody because we have a kind of a funny situation in Poland because we have the government that is quite right-wing, and we have elections coming up in less than 2 weeks. And it's really specific for Poland, but basically all the measures that are being introduced about the fact that like you can't go outside with more than one person and you can't go to certain areas, and like, you can be fined if you're not going out for like essential services. Like, as much as everybody in Poland agrees it's good and it's keeping us safe, it's also really confusing how to execute that because it's basically unconstitutional to do that. Because the only way to do it legally for the government is to introduce like, I don't know how it's called in English, but kind of like a panic state situation.
Like a state of emergency.
Hold an election. Yeah, an emergency state. But then you wouldn't be able to hold an election. So they're kind of doing it in this way of like, you can do it, but we technically can't do anything if you're breaking the rules because we're telling you to not do this illegally, kind of. So, everybody's like kind of skating the rules. We had Easter. I mean, everybody had Easter a couple of days ago, and people have been going home, and you're not supposed to do it. But at the same time, if the police stops you, you can just tell them, well, there's no rule against that. So yeah, it's been a bit confusing, but at least on paper, there is quite a lot of regulations about the movement and everything.
And do you think it will have an influence on the elections? What's happening right now in Poland? Like the virus, like, I mean, maybe on if people can go and vote or how people vote, or I don't know, like.
I think there's probably gonna be way less people voting because people are really scared here. I want to say we're like a nation of hypochondriacs, so I think a lot of people are gonna stay home.
Okay.
Even though my election office is literally 2 blocks away, I am thinking actually about like mailing the ballot.
Yeah.
As for the results, I have no idea because on one hand, it is a right-wing government and a lot of people don't like it. But on the other hand, I have to admit, even myself, they are doing a lot of good stuff in terms of, keeping people safe. So it's like, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but certainly it's going to be interesting.
Crazy. And but you guys had some other stuff. Like I think Poland was in the news like the last couple of days for other kind of what was it?
Oh yeah, so basically what happened is that like it's really funny because I was convinced that the parliament is not working, but apparently they do. And what happened is that a citizens group, so that wasn't the government's idea, but the citizens group introduced this law that would, well, currently we have the situation in Poland that we can only have abortion in 3 cases. If you've been raped, if the life of the mother is endangered, or if the fetus is so I'm looking for the right word, like deformed, or it's gonna be born dead. So this is the cases. So it's already really strict and one of the strictest in the whole Europe. The Citizens Project was trying to introduce the law that, like, if the fetus is deformed or it's gonna die, or it might be like very ill when it's born, that they try to introduce that you then also can't perform an abortion legally, which would, it wouldn't ban abortion completely, but it would make it almost impossible to get it legally.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting in terms of the protests, because of course we can go outside of the house and people are really, taking their health seriously, but at the same time we want to show your protest. So the symbols of the Polish protest movements for the abortion rights over the years have been like dressing in black and black umbrellas and like clothes hangers. So what they asked us to do, like the leaders of the movement, was to just like put the umbrellas or the hangers outside of your windows, so people would like notice walking down the street like how many people are against it. So it's been like really fun playing almost this game with my neighbors, that like I go for a cigarette, I have a balcony, and I can see like black umbrellas like popping up around, and I can be like, oh, these are the cool neighbors, and these are not cool neighbors. My friend who's a photographer, he also did this project where he would basically cycle around Warsaw, and women who would normally go to the protest, or anybody, but mostly women, he would take the photos of them on the street. So I did it with him as well. I was one of the people who photographed. So we would be standing on a street while respecting the rules of like social distancing. He would be like 5-6 meters away from me, and he would take a photo outside of my house, like on the street, as if I would be going to the protest. So I had like my sign and like all of my black clothes. And his idea was like, I'm gonna put as many photos as I can on my Instagram to a lot of people who are, disagreeing with the law that's been introduced. But it didn't pass, luckily. The vote was yesterday, so that's good.
Yeah, that's what I saw. So it's all good.
Yeah.
The umbrellas worked. Or the parliament, whatever. Yeah, and so, what, 4 or 5 weeks now for you guys? Yeah, 4 weeks.
Wow. Yeah.
And so what have you been doing to keep yourself busy? I guess you're working from home and...
Yeah. I've been working from home. I thought it's going to be more chill, but I'm actually working as much as I would otherwise, because we're doing quite a lot of like user-generated content, and like we basically quickly pivoted in my office into how can we make commercials safely while still producing content. So it's been kind of interesting, just like seeing what can you do without leaving the house.
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of TV shows. I've been talking to people a lot. Me and a couple of friends started an online book club.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But what's funny is like I can't watch films or read books, like those things that require a bit more attention than just putting a TV show in the background. I don't know why, but it's just, I noticed that I thought I was gonna like catch up on all of my movies, and it just didn't happen yet.
Yeah, the attention span is somehow not intact. Yeah.
I think so. I think just like your mind is all over the place.
What's one of the books that you guys are reading? Like, do you have a recommendation?
We're reading Orlando by Virginia Woolf, because we wanted to get something that people will have easy access to, like, because it's like international. So, again, like, what can you order? Like, I can't get a lot of modern literature in English here. But yeah, it's been fun. It was a bit like being back at school.
Yeah. And then you guys just you do like a video call meeting, and you just talk about the book, or what? How's it work? Nice.
Yeah, we had the first meeting yesterday, and it was like a Google Hangout, and it was like 7 of us. And at first it was like an awkward silence because nobody has been in the book club before, so we didn't know what to do. But then once we started talking about it, it went by really smoothly. Like, people have been like reading their first favorite passages, and just like commenting on certain things. But it was really cool because at school you're like, the blue of the curtains like symbolizes the patriotism or something. And this was like, the main character is really fucking annoying.
That's nice. It's a lot more subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Right, and like, I don't know if before the whole coronavirus thing happened, Like, what was like one of the things, because I feel like the coronavirus has kind of pushed our mental idea of all of the other things that are happening in the world kind of away. So like, what was one of the things that was like most prominently in your mind? Maybe like an issue or something you're passionate about.
Oh wow. I I think I was thinking, it's gonna sound so narcissistic, but I think I was like thinking a lot about like, what am I doing with my life? Because the thing is that like, as much as I enjoy my job, like I really want to go into directing.
Mm-hmm.
And because my job has been like so time consuming, I just haven't done much of the writing, and, stuff like that. And and it's really funny because like now being in the situation that we are now, it's not like it stops mattering, but it kind of puts it in perspective of like, will there be an industry when we come back? Like, how will it look like? Will it be easier or harder to make stuff as a filmmaker? And again, I think I really struggled at the beginning of the quarantine because I saw a lot of posts being like, like Shakespeare wrote King Lear or something, so you have to use that time productively as well. And I was like, every time I put pen to a paper, I just wanted to cry.
Oh no.
So I'm really happy for people who are being super productive in this lockdown. But I think for me it was really a huge stress relief to realize that I don't have to. And if something creative happens, that's cool, but it's not like it's not compulsory for me to do something, like use my time productively,
Yeah. Now I've talked to a few people. I've talked to a few people that had the same thing, that it's like you were, as a creative, you feel so pressured to like generate like the most amazing stuff in these weeks. But yeah.
It's good to hear I'm not the only one.
yeah, exactly. And is there something you really look forward to doing again if you once, like, say coronavirus is completely gone and you can do everything you want?
I think I'm really looking forward to just like going to the cinema and like even by myself. It's just the notion of just like experiencing, I think, art in general. Like I think I will be. It's a bit like when people have like a near-death experience and they are just like, oh, I haven't done all these things and now I realize they're important.
Yeah.
Like I've been for 6 months and I haven't been to any art gallery yet. So I really want to do that. I haven't been going on walks much before the pandemic because I was so tired after work. And now, because the weekends actually are weekends because we don't have shoots, I started discovering Warsaw for the first time since I moved in here and just like walking aimlessly without my phone. So I'm looking forward to walking further once I can take a bus to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm going to be one of those cliche people that are suddenly going to be like, I need to go to all the like galleries and cinemas and theaters and stuff like that, so precious.
Yeah, I do feel like all of these businesses are going to kind of feel quite an uptake in like customers coming in, I feel, because everybody's just craving it now. It'll be a quick spike because everybody's going to be like, yeah, it's like New Year's. Everybody's like, yeah, I'm going to go walking and stuff. And then as soon as you have to go commute back to your office and stuff, you're just gonna keep the walking again.
I wonder if we're gonna appreciate the little things because people like we always complain about the crowd on the tube or like long working hours and like people you don't like in the office. And now what I'm hearing from my friends is just like everybody misses those little things. So I wonder if it's gonna be like really ecstatic for a week and then it's gonna be back to normal, being like, I can't stand everybody, I just want to be home.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a good friend in China and the lockdown in her city was over for like 3 weeks, I think, when I talked to her, and she was like, I'll tell you, like, you're gonna miss the time where you just can stay inside and don't feel bad about not meeting anyone and not going to any offices or anything, like just chilling in the house and like painting or reading a book or something. So yeah, I think it will happen to us as well. We'll like overcompensate for a week and then we'll just go crazy and then we just go back to normal.
I don't know how it is for you, but I noticed that like when somebody calls me and I just don't want to talk anymore because I'm tired or I have nothing to say, like before you could just say, oh, I gotta run because I have a cinema or a meeting or something, and now you can't do that. It's really stressful.
It's not as plausible anymore, yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go cook. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. On that note, I've got to run now. No, yeah, but it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for asking me to. That was really fun. It was nice to, just
Yeah, it's good. And yeah, stay in touch and let me know if you go to London, come to London.
Definitely, and hopefully you'll be back by then as well.
I think so.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.